icon, more than that, a Neapolitan icon in San Francisco, Assemblyman Tom Amiano.
Thank you very much, and as someone who's always wanted to be an empress, I'm honored to have the privilege of introducing someone who I have admired for a long time. You know, I know that in the film industry, breaking through, particularly if you're a minority, and shaking up stereotypes takes a certain kind of courage. And I've always admired this actor for her particular trajectory in films. I always sense through, of course, the beauty that we see, I always sense a steeliness and an ability to hold one's ground. I wouldn't be surprised if Bertolucci himself didn't have a sense of that in casting this role. Ms. Chen has said, to my great amusement, there ain't a lot of roles for empresses, but I've been offered a lot of vampire portrayals. And there is a cruelty that she was addressing, but I thought she addressed it with wisdom and always grace. You know that she's a very well-rounded person. She has 2 children and faces the conundrum of many women on how to balance her career. I confess, I sometimes look at her career through the lens of Josie Packwood and wonder if she has a gun ready to shoot someone. But if you like Twin Peaks, apparently David Lynch recently has tweeted that Twin Peaks might come back. But I always enjoyed Ms. Chen's interpretation of that role. And as an Italian-American, of course, I appreciate the context of what's happening here tonight. I have an Italian-American family from New Jersey, and one of their favorite movies we thought was the Guns of Navarone, but in my neighborhood they called it the Guns of Minestrone. So, but it is my great honor to welcome to the great city of San Francisco, Ms. Joan Chen.
Thank you. And thank you, Tom, for your kind words of introduction. He said steeliness. I actually have none of those. When I'm in front of a crowd, I actually get tongue-tied, believe it or not. Camera is my friend, but crowds scare me. And tonight I have my daughters here, and I really can't screw up in front of my kids. So I actually had things typed, and I'm gonna tell you, but I'm gonna look at the notes. I usually hate to go to my own premieres, because when I see my own work, I just see what could have been done better. And so it's usually, premieres are just excruciatingly disappointing. But this film, The Last Emperor, was filmed 28 years ago. So I suppose I could be gentler and more forgiving toward that young self that will appear in front of me again tonight in 3D. I guess I'm lucky that I did a film that has legs, as they say in Hollywood. And I imagine that young self, 28 years ago, could not have expected to come back here in Castro Theater with a full house, seeing myself again in 3D. And this lack of imagination and foresight actually was quite costly, because in the excitement of getting my dream part, I agreed to forego all my residual payments, which was really a standard for all Screen Actors Guild actors. And I wanted the part, I wanted to play it, oh, what's residuals? And actually today, I got a residual for my very first TV appearance, which was a silent part in Simon over 30 years ago. And I was like, oh yeah, I should not have given that up. Yeah. But considering how special this project is, money is really secondary, as they all have talked about how special this film is. And so from my perspective, I'm just going to share some tidbits of the film that I didn't really appreciate when I was doing it, but I do very much now. Like how this film was, I think, the first and only film ever permitted to be filmed in the Forbidden City. And when we were filming it, the Forbidden City was closed to the public. So I was roaming around, biking around the Forbidden City, 250 acres of it, home for 24 generations of empress, like I owned it. And yeah, my only method acting experience. Yeah. And many of the scenes, like the scene in Manchuria, we filmed actually in Puyi's residence, in the actual place. And more special is when you see the prison scenes and many of the interior, the sets were actually built in Cinecittà in Rome. And so that was my first trip to Rome, and it has become one of my really favorite cities in the world. Yeah. Oh yeah, 2 more bits of trivia. So for our royal hair, the hair department brought in 2,200 pounds of human hair for wigs. And last bit of trivia, 19,000 extras throughout the film. So that was quite special. And lastly, I'm just going to share with you, we were all talking about Bernardo, how I met Bernardo and how I got to play the part. So about a year before they began casting for The Last Emperor, I auditioned for a character, the female lead, in Michael Cimino's film, Year of the Dragon. And it was a very lengthy process involving like dozens of callbacks and eventual screen tests with Mickey Rourke. The character was a very sophisticated newscaster, and I was pretty much fresh off the boat from China. So in retrospective, I see that I wasn't right at all. I was wrong for the part, but I really fought for it. I wanted it. And I hired the best, most expensive Hollywood dialogue coach to teach me to speak newscaster English. That was actually pretty impossible. You know, he cost me $200 a session for 2 hours, and I was earning less than $5 an hour as a receptionist in the restaurant. And I went full broke, and I didn't get the part. And so I was so dejected. I was so disillusioned. I felt that hard work meant nothing in this business. But Michael Cimino did actually give me a bouquet of flowers this big. The only director who gave me flower after rejecting me. Yeah. But then, after another year, I got a call from Joanna Merlin, the casting director from Year of the Dragon. She called me and she said, "Joan, I have a perfect part for you. The director is only in LA for a very short time. Can you come and meet him?" Of course, I'll meet him. What is the part? And then she told me about how they're still in the preliminary stage and how Bernardo Bertolucci was casting for The Last Emperor, but they haven't started casting yet. So she brought me to meet Bernardo before anybody else, or actors, met Bernardo. And that's how I first met Bernardo. And then it took another year for Jeremy Thomas to raise the funds. 25 million back then for a picture like this is a lot of money. It took him another year to raise the fund, and they did go around the world to cast it. But the part was mine from the first meeting when I met with Bernardo, because I came highly recommended by the casting director, who had just a year before combed all Asian actresses all around the world. And so, in the end, what I thought was wasted effort got paid in the much grander film and here in 3D. So I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Enjoy the film.